we go. Okay, here we go.
Well, congratulations. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm ready to eat. This morning I had kind of trouble putting some breakfast down just because I was crossed between nerves and felt like my arms and my legs were going to fly off my body because I was so ready to fight. But, I didn't want to just, my mom told me a long time ago when I first started fighting. I'm sitting there at breakfast with her, and she goes, "What are you so nervous about?" I said, "Ma, I got to fight later on today." She goes, "It's not till for a few hours. Don't ruin breakfast." So I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So I just kind of settled down and had breakfast. But, I've kind of taken that with me for the rest of my fight career. It ain't going to happen till it happens, so no need getting super nervous now.
So the nerves are normal. It's not based off what happened in your last fight.
No, nerves are normal. Each fight is its own entity. It's its own story. It's its own time. It's its own everything. What happened in the past is what happened in the past. That last fight over in Abu Dhabi, it is what it is. That is part of fighting. It's not just the training camp. It's not just the win. It's not just the loss. It's everything involved in it. We got Michael Bisping, he got a wonky eye now. We got Boss Rutten, he's got nerve damage in his arm. Well, I guess it was just my time to get punted in the pills, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's fighting. There's a lot of chaos that happens, and it's not always predictable.
And I don't want to focus too much on that, but since we didn't get to talk to you, was it nice to see how supportive I'm assuming the fans were supportive of what happened? No?
You'd be assuming wrong.
Okay, so what was that like afterwards then? Because I saw lots of positivity, but
yeah.
Obviously...
Well, here's the thing. The UFC is very unique in that it's an individual sport within a team setting. All of us have a team behind us, but when we go out there, we perform by ourselves. And the UFC, and you have certain groups of people going for certain people because of certain religions, certain races. It's just you have the guys that are basic, your basic fans. They just like to see fights, which is cool. You have the guys that are kind of into it. They follow the top 5, the top 15, but then you have the real students of the game that watch everything about it. I appreciated that so many people showed up for my opponent. Javid Basharat is a great martial artist. His record speaks for itself, and he's pulling a decent fan base for the sport, and I was happy for it. All the hate that I got on my Instagram afterwards, I don't like to see that side of humanity, but at the same time, it's funny. These guys, and I left it up on my page. You can go right now and see all the negative comments towards me. In my eyes, it's just activity on my Instagram. It just makes me look either better or worse. But hey, Kim Kardashian said it best. Any press is good press. I'm just not doing what she did.
Not yet, anyway.
I got punted in the pills, so I'm almost there anyways, right?
Can you just talk to me a little bit about this fight? Did the fight go the way that you had anticipated going, or did you have to make adjustments in there?
I had to make adjustments in there. He came out kicking, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, I see his head right there for me to punch, but I'm at the same time he's probably kicking me because he wants me to return fast hands, and he's just going to go bloop, right underneath it. So I was like, no, I'm going to circle off, make him think that I'm just going to run. And then, of course, the apex cage is smaller, so it really entices more action quicker, which is cool. Let's get this fight started. But at the same time, I didn't want to get pinned up against the cage and just being stalled out. So that first round, I landed some good shots, but he was more active. He had more leg kicks going on, and he was setting up the grappling, and I reversed them, and I got out and everything. And then come second round, your boy started putting in some work, getting behind his jab and everything, and trying to get behind his gloves, especially when he started shelling up. I didn't want to punch through his glove. I wanted to punch around it, kind of wanted to spin his head up. But once I started landing my jab, that's when everything started going my way.
I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at the scorecards yet, but were you confident going into that third that the fight was yours if you got all the way to the judges?
No. I've seen the way that some of the scorecards go. You never know. You just never know. Unfortunately, there's a time limit to these fights. if it was just go until somebody quits or is knocked out, then that'd be a lot different. But we were given 15 or 25 minutes to fight. And if at the end of the fight somebody values a position more than anything else, that's just the way they see it. I've lost fights where I beat the dog turd out of somebody only because they got my back for 20 seconds or not even 20 seconds. They said, "Oh, he had your back, so therefore he wins," and did what with it? So I haven't even seen the scorecards. I don't know the way they saw it, but I mean, if somebody getting pieced up is grounds for them winning, then well, I don't know what the heck the judges were looking at. Maybe they need to get in a fight.
They were a little all over the place, but 2 of the 3 had you winning. The other one was
Well, see, there you go, all over the place.
Yeah. You did get a 10-8 on one scorecard for round 2.
Oh, it did? I mean, I mean, somebody said that I should have gotten that for the round 2 of the Gravely fight, but it is what it is. I still want to split on that one, even though I don't think it was a split. But both those guys all those guys at ATT are just so tough. Gravely, now Hani. I mean, it's just they got a great program over there, and it shows. I mean, they got great fighters over there.
What's next for you? When would you like to get back in there?
Well, as soon as anybody wants to see me again, I got a big nose and some big old ears, but hey, I'm down for it. I'll go next week if they want me.
Do you have an opponent you'd like to fight next?
I'm not in the business of calling people out. I'd like to climb up that ladder, but the UFC is going to do what the UFC wants with me. That's the way it is, and if they want me to fight a gorilla back in the back alley, then hey, well, let's get at it.
Thank you.
You got it.
It's a quick one over here.
What's up, man?
I heard you say arriba las Chivas after you won. So how long have you had that love for them?
Well, check this out. When my dad started having me play soccer when I was 8 years old, ¿a quién le vas, mijo? Las Chivas. Huevo que sí. Because he's a Chivas and UNAM fan. Los Pumas. And then his friends were America fans, and of course everybody knows, that. But I can't really say what that means. But yeah, everybody kind of gets it, right? That was my first sport that I actually really applied myself in was soccer. So, that's where them kicks came in. In that 3rd round when I landed that kick, I was like, man, he's still standing there. And then of course I got to start putting on some punches on this guy. And Herzog gave him a lot of opportunity. I thought I had him out of there in the second, but it only goes to show with the depth of his metal.
So you grew up playing soccer then and made the transition over?
I grew up playing soccer, and then I played a little bit of football. It was flag football because I went to a private school, and then my very first sport was baseball, but I don't consider that a sport. That's a pastime. But yeah, soccer was my first sport. Skateboarding, but hey, skateboarding is not a crime. But it is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I heard you say the kicks come over from the soccer area. So playing all those sports you did, how did all those sports help you prepare to come over to the biggest stage of mixed martial arts?
Well, it let me know that you can't really count on everybody. Playing those team sports, unfortunately, when you're in kids leagues, and these kids, some of them really try. And, my parents were never ones to push me into a sport. They always kind of be like, well, you like it, keep going. When I was taking my first black belt test for Taekwondo, it was a 4-hour test, and I had to spar my friends after like 3.5 hours of kiyas and push-ups and sit-ups and everything. And then we had to spar my friends. It was like spar one guy, spar one guy, spar one, and then spar 2-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1. And then my parents are looking at me getting my butt kicked by my friends and being like, well, you wanted this, get up and go. So, when I finally found martial arts, I was like, this is better than any sport that I had ever done, because now it's all on me. Any shortcoming, any overcoming is all on me. So it was great, and then, later on, of course, skateboarding and, jumping off roofs and jumping into skate parks and doing all that skater stuff that speaks for itself.
That's awesome. And I know you just said you're not really into calling things out or calling people out, but after learning about your love for Chivas and your dad's love, I guess the Noche UFC card, is that something that would really spark your interest then?
Yeah, anytime I get an opportunity to fight somebody, hey, let's do it.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks again, man.
Hey, Victor. I want to talk about your hobbies real quick. At least on your Instagram, about a year ago now, you restored that one car. I don't know exactly what model it was.
1970 Cutlass S.
How is that thing riding now?
Well, it's not riding yet, only because right when we started it, oil pressure is really low. And generally, Oldsmobiles have low oil pressure when you're running them, but this was just far too low. So we sent it back to the engine maker, L&R, and they're like, hey, yo, everything's fine with this. But also, my coach is putting together his own cars, so we're kind of swapping parts in between here and there, and now I got a new Hotchkiss suspension waiting for me. We're going to put a new transmission in it. We're going to, of course, put the engine in it. And, you know, just whenever I get caught up in these training camps, I put the car on the side. But right when I go back, that's when everything, I mean, the motor's going in, the new trans is going in. I know, I got to first rebuild the trans, but the new suspension's going in, get the trans rebuilt, and then put that thing in. That way we can have some overdrive on the highway, and then it should be good. Well, then actually we're going to send it over to Fight Tech so they can tune it. Then it's going to be screaming metal, twisted steel, and sex appeal down that road.
I love it. When do you think it's going to be finally finished?
It's never going to be finished. You know, that's just the way cars are. You know, oh man, it's finished. I think I want to change a little something here. I think I want to change a little something there. Somebody asked me if that's how I relax. You know, fix on the car. I'm like, you don't relax fixing on a car. You know, you relax by sitting on the couch, but you scream and cuss at cars. That's just the way it is. You're twisting on something, all of a sudden the nut or the bolt gives, and you punch an engine head, and your knuckles are bleeding. It's every cuss word you could think of. You know, that's fixing cars, but you know, that's the fun part, I guess.
I feel like for everybody, they either have a story or something significant to their heart on the kind of car model that they want to restore, that they hold near and dear. For you, why is this one car so meaningful to you?
Well, my dad, you know, the one that also introduced me to soccer and Los Chivas, and he's the one that introduced me to Mad Max. He's like, mijo, let's watch this. So I was all right. So I started watching Mad Max, and I saw the cars they were driving, and you know, growing up, I was like, man, that would be cool if one day I could build one of those cars, you know. And you know, I want my Cutlass to look as mean as possible. I don't want it to look slick. I don't want it to look like it's a pretty car. I want it to look mean. I want it to look like when we're going down the street, it's loud, it's saying potato, potato, potato all the way down, and it's going to be a mean car, you know. And the fact that I'm in a position now where I can actually afford it, you know, growing up in Southgate, you know, you don't really, you know, I mean, you see a lot of cars with zip ties on them, you know, you see a lot of cars that shouldn't be on the road, and you're like, well, I mean, the guy's got to get to work, you know, so I guess we're doing it that way. But having the opportunity to actually be able to work on a car the right way, not just, mijo, just Mickey Mouse, put it right there, you know, it is what it is, you know. I thank my coaches for that, you know, Josh Barnett, he's helping me a lot with understanding cars, you know, and the way it's supposed to be done right. I mean, I could fix something just to be like, oh, this will last until it breaks again, but to fix it right is an entire different thing.
So it sounds like to me that love for cars has always been there from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a screaming car going 200 miles an hour? Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I got to ask you, my last question here is just, what's on your Mount Rushmore of car kind?
I would love to build a gutted out 71 Firebird. That would be awesome, but hey, good luck. Or a Porsche, an old Porsche, because those are, I mean, some guys on YouTube bought a bunch of Porsches. Now you can't even get a 90s Porsche below, $70,000, but hey, whatever.
Congrats on the win. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And two quick ones for me.
What's up?
Again, congrats on the performance. Amazing win. You were able to really land your shots, but I like how you were patient with it. Because most people would have been like, oh, I'm going to just go like balls to the wall, and here comes Yanya with pulling something out. Mm-hmm. But you were patient with the finish, almost kind of like letting the ref know, like, hey, you can step in at any moment. And I got this dude's number.
Yeah. You know, half of it was because, man, he's such a veteran of the sport. I don't know if he's just playing coy. All of a sudden, I'm going to go in, and all of a sudden, whoop, take down on my leg, or he's on my leg, and I have to grapple this guy. But at the same time, it's sometimes, you know, every fighter kind of doubts themselves because, well, what if he is playing coy? What if he's not playing coy? What if, you know, this is my time? I know my time will come eventually, but I have to believe it's there from work that I've done. It can't just be like guess willy-nilly, oh, why is he kind of acting that way? And if I hit him with something and I see a reaction, I know I've created that which is that's the time to go.
And lastly, this coming weekend, UFC's going to Brazil. Living legend in your weight class, Jose Aldo. I'm gonna just throw that name at you because you just fought a legend in Hani Yaya. So why not, if Aldo were to win, match you up with him? That'd be kind of fun, like a Legends tour, real quick.
Hey, you know what? If the UFC wants to put that on, you know, that'd be great. But you know, I know that I have to work my way up to fight legends. You know, this is a legend that was within my realm right now, and I know Jose Aldo. I mean, man, what hasn't he done? You know, but if the UFC feels that I'm there with that kind of talent, then I'm all for it. I mean, it's just a feather in my cap, I guess. But yeah, we'll take it. I mean, that's my coach yelling at me from the back. So yeah, we'll take it.
Good stuff. Congrats on the win, my man.
Thanks very much.
Sir.
All good. Thanks, guys.